WWE Monday Night Raw returns to 2 hours for the first time since 2012. Hello all and welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host Alyx, just Alyx, and I'm conflicted. I am someone who has for over a decade complained about Monday Night Raw being 3 hours and how it was just way too long. And rightfully so, the show was atrocious. For a good portion of its run as a 3-hour show since 2012, Raw was the worst television show, at least for professional wrestling, for almost a decade. For 9 years straight until Vince McMahon stepped down, Raw was literally like watching. The best way I can describe it, it's like one of those torture videos that people would kidnap you for and interrogate you with. We're going to torture you with 3-hour Raws. That used to actually be a thing. I'm not making that up. People used to say it was a torture video that would make certain hostages speak or talk. All right, I'll talk. Raw was horrible when it was 3 hours. And so when it was announced that it was finally going back to 2 hours, or we were getting 2-hour Raws, at least for the remainder of 2024, you would not believe the sigh of relief I had. I said to myself, finally, some change was made, necessary change to improve the quality of these shows. Now, I want to make it clear, my opinion on 2-hour Raws have not changed. I still believe overall, SmackDown and Raw are better off as 2-hour shows. And that's not going to change despite what we got tonight. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't think Raw was all that great tonight. I didn't think it was terrible, but for the first 2-hour Raw, in how long? Since 2012, so almost 12 years. Maybe a little bit over 12 years. This was, let's just say it was underwhelming. I won't say it was disappointing, but it didn't really make me feel like going 2 hours was the right move. That was my thought coming out of the show. I actually considered maybe it wasn't a good idea to go 2 hours. Not because 2-hour Raws can't work. No, I still think overall it's better for anybody, any wrestling show, weekly. Raw has just been 3 hours for so long. They have adjusted their schedules, adjusted their storytelling, their match timing, everything to 3 hours. That switch back to 2, I should have figured was going to be a bit more difficult than I anticipated. That readjustment going back to 2 hours wasn't going to be easy. I should have foreseen that. I haven't. Because when I think about it, I used to watch all kinds of 2-hour Raws from the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. Those 2-hour Raws were very fast-paced. The matches didn't go no 10, 20, 30 minutes. They went 5 minutes. 5-7 minutes, we move on. But because they were short matches, they were able to compact so much into that show. The segments in and out. So we had a good 5-6 storylines on every single show. With Raw doing 3 hours, they were able to do that, but more in terms of more wrestling, longer segments. They were able to add a tad bit more to these stories. Well, now that we're going back to 2 hours, the WWE needs to readjust to doing more with less. And that's going to be difficult. I don't think the adjustment's going to take that long. I should have suspected that it wasn't going to be an easy transition. Now, let's get something straight. Triple H has been known to do some really good storytelling with very little time. Case in point, NXT. NXT, for what feels like the better part of the 2010s, was an hour. It wasn't 2 hours. It was literally 1 hour each week. And he got so much done in that 1 hour. Granted, that 1 hour was taped. It wasn't live. Still, you can do a lot with 2 hours if you pace it right, if you structure it right. So I do think over time, they'll get used to it. And then when we get to Netflix, they won't have to worry about whether they're going 2 or 3 hours. They can go as long as they want. Maybe one week they'll want to go 2.5 hours. Maybe one week they'll want to go 1.5 hours. Or at least 1 hour and 45 minutes. And then maybe one week they'll want to go 3, if not 3.5. It depends on what they want to do with that time. I think Netflix will give them as much time as they want to be as flexible as they want. But unfortunately, with national television, you can't do that. Especially with the USA Network. You get 2 hours, that's it. That's all they can afford. That's all they can afford. Now, if you're someone that believes the WWE would be better off with 3 hours, let me tell you something. You won't have to worry for long because SmackDown is going 3 hours when we get to next year. And I do think when SmackDown goes to 3 hours, a lot of these talents on Raw will need to be traded, if not called up from NXT. Because there's no way in hell you can make 3 hours work with this SmackDown roster, with the SmackDown roster they have now. So I'm suspecting some of these Raw talents will be moved over to, of course, SmackDown. But until then, 2 hours Raw, 2 hours SmackDown, you're going to have to adjust. Do I see them adjusting within these next 3 months? Honestly, I don't really see them figuring it out until maybe around Survivor Series, but even then, they'll have like 4 weeks left, and then those 4 weeks will be in December, and then you won't really have to worry about much happening in those 4 weeks because it's usually that time of the year when they go on break. Triple H is very keen and very hardcore about letting wrestlers have time off. He doesn't like overworking wrestlers. He's all about roster rotation, keeping his top talent healthy, using them sparingly here and there. So, I don't expect much to happen past Survivor Series outside of Saturday night's main event. But that still leaves, 8 weeks of Raw left for them to really get something going? They might figure it out within that time. But by the time they get to Netflix, it's not going to matter. Because again, once you get to Netflix, they can go as long as they want. And I'm hearing, and we'll talk about this in the news section, they are literally saying that the Raw on Netflix, the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix, is going to be buzzworthy. They're just putting it out there. It's going to be something that's going to hold us over until the Royal Rumble, which isn't happening until February. The first week of February, but still February. I don't know what that means. I'm excited as hell to see what they do. But regardless, that's still January. That's still next year. We got October, November, December. Maybe we should temper our expectations a little bit when it comes to the quality of Monday Night Raw. Just a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that things are going to be not worth watching, that things are going to be skippable. That's not what I believe one bit. I just believe tonight, if tonight was any indication, we should probably be expecting these Raws to just kind of be relaxed, pulled back a little. So I didn't hate tonight's Raw. Pacing was a little off, which we should have expected. Things felt rushed in certain sections. They just did a random 10 women's tag, which was something I was hoping we would get away from. That's one of those things where it's like, we gotta get everybody on the show. No, we don't. That's one of the things I loved about 2-hour Raws, where it's like, see, if you're gonna be on Raw, now it's because it's warranted. Now they have to pick and choose what's gonna be worth these 2 hours. See, with 3 hours, you had some space to give some leeway to people. Not anymore. That was the thing about 2-hour Raws. You get on there when you have something going. And I like this. I like it better this way. We're currently in the midst of a crown jewel build-up. They're building to these champions versus champion matches where the winners win the crown jewel titles, which I'm still trying to figure out what the purpose of is. Okay, cool. You win the crown jewel championship. Now what? Now what? What does that do? I asked that question. They win the crown jewel championship, and then what? Do they just win a trophy title? What do you get by winning this trophy title? How does it add anything to your career? What does it necessarily say? See, this isn't like winning King of the Ring. You win King or Queen of the Ring, you get a championship match at SummerSlam, which is what it used to be, and then Triple H brought it back this year. That means something. That made that first Saudi Arabia event mean something. Here, they're just winning a trophy title. Why should we care? What will this advance? This is one of the reasons why I'm just not a fan of these Saudi Arabia shows, even under Triple H. Unless it's something like King and Queen of the Ring. We're just doing this because blood money. It's not going to impact storylines. It's not going to really change anything. And what happens is, it's one of those things that interfere with the overall flow of stories. Because we're getting paid all this money, millions of dollars to go to Saudi Arabia. And I hate it because imagine if we didn't have Saudi Arabia on, November 2nd? In a couple of weeks. And then we had this 2-month build for Survivor Series. Imagine what stories they could have told within that time. Not saying they still can't tell those stories, but you know that most of these times are going to go to building to Crown Jewel, and I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. What do? I can't do much about it. Saudi Arabia is giving them millions upon millions of dollars to come and please the Crown Prince. And whatever the Crown Prince wants, the Crown Prince gets. So we'll see. We'll have to see how things work out. But more than ever, this upcoming show just feels like a glorified house show. It does. It feels like a glorified house show. So I'm hoping that even though we're building to this glorified house show, we still get some of the Survivor Series build in there. Because I'm looking past November 2nd. Will I be here to review it? We'll see. We'll see. According to a lot of fans and some reports I'm reading, it doesn't really feel like much is happening with Crown Jewel on the 2nd. So we'll see if I'm feeling like reviewing it or not. But just get me to Survivor Series. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to review the show. It's not going to be a long stream. I already did my big newsworthy stream earlier today, Miracle Lives. Those of you who weren't there, check it out. It's up. So we'll hit up some news items. We'll talk about the 2-hour Raw. The first Raw on, of course, Netflix, happening next year. We'll talk about Goldberg. Then we'll hit the Raw review. And then I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to hold you here too long. But I do appreciate you guys for making me a part of your day. Quick shout out to the new Super Chat champion. Give it up for Debit Money. Debit Money Adams, who was able to win the Super Chat Championship this past Saturday at Bad Blood. Unfortunately, 3 Diglets was not around. He was AFK. Not saying he won't be back, but if he does come back, he's going to have to take on the Money Man himself, Debit Money Adams. Because everybody's got a price. That's all I got for you. You're going to be my $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase champion, Debit Adams. Everybody's got a price. The Money Man now holds the championship. He will be defending it at Survivor Series, which gives all of you lovely people plenty of time to save up and see if you can take that title from him. But be careful. When you pay the price, you better be ready to reap the rewards and also the consequences if you fail. Because everybody's got a price. We'll work on it. We'll work on it, Debbie Adams. We're going to work on it. But I like it. Money Man, Debbie Adams. But thank you all so much for making me a part of your day. Let's go ahead and get to the preliminary stuff. Let's pay the bills. Let me say hello to the people. The people. Of course, sponsorships and all that jazz. And then, of course, we'll get to the news and the review. And yes, Debit Money Adams, feel free, of course, to have yourself an IRS. I don't know who it's going to be, but someone's got to take care of them taxes. You can find yourself an IRS, I guess, lackey, right-hand man, but you'll find one eventually. Congrats, champ. Wear it with pride. So here we go. Thank you all so much for being here. If this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Wow, you're at it. Help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership. Click that join button and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing. Whether it's a live reaction, a hot topic, or a review past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to give thanks. Hit that super thanks. If you would like to donate after the fact, you can also like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, just Alyx Central. Give me a follow on Instagram, give me a follow on Spotify, give me a follow on Cameo, give me a follow on Threads, follow us on Discord, and give us a follow on TikTok. For I am the tickest of the talkest. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, and yes, Super Chats are officially on you. Can donate at any point in time during the broadcast. To get your thoughts played live on the air, email me at justAlexsWorld@gmail.com. For business inquiries, just to say hi, and please get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Are you a Just Alex guy? Join the club and get you an I'm a Just Alex guy today. Hot out the press. Get you an old school Deluxe Man t-shirt, get you a new school Alex's World t-shirt, and many more t-shirt designs coming your way. Help expand the brand right here in Alex's World. Big shout out to the lovely partners of tonight's broadcast, Mint Mobile. As I said before, Mint Mobile will be the prevailing sponsors, prevailing partners for this upcoming month and, of course, November. So you're going to get a lot of them. Once again, Mint Mobile is here to make sure you get the best mobile plan for great service. Now, some of you, if not all of you, are paying hundreds, thousands of dollars for your mobile plan each year. Great services, all of them. What if I told you you can have that same quality, same service, maybe even better, for $15 a month? You think I'm lying? Mint Mobile is here to give you great service for a cheap price. Affordable prices. If that's something you're interested in, then let's get a quick word from our partners before we get to some shoutouts.
This video is partnered by Mint Mobile. Like many of you, I've been trying to cut back on expenses lately, but let's be real. It's tough when you got things to do and you don't want to give them up. But sometimes you have to make those sacrifices to pay your phone bill and satisfy the big tech companies. That was until I discovered Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless services starting as low as $15 a month. With Mint Mobile, you can get high-speed data plus unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. The best part? You get to keep your phone and even the phone number. Now, if you do want to purchase your own phone, they do have phones available on the website, which you can get through the link. The internet service is reliably fast. It's so seamless, I put it up there with any other network on the market. Now, some of you might think switching to a new service is a hassle. Let me reassure you, this is only going to take you 15 minutes to set up. You could literally do it right now from your phone, no need to leave your house or contact anybody.
And if your device does not support eSIM, then Mint Mobile will personally ship you a physical SIM card.
So if you're like me and you want to save a little bit of money without sacrificing anything, use the link trymintmobile.com/justAlex and start your wireless plan today as low as $15 a month. Don't lose out on this opportunity. Start saving money by switching to Mint Mobile today.
Thank you all so much for joining me. Once again, show your love to the Mod Squad, because they help keep this a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Give it up for Ultra, Shiny Knights and Empire Star Heart, Alyx, a Demon, New Japan Pro Wrestling Girl, Khalil does everything. Highway dealing, a danger, and of course, Big MGM. All these lovely people help keep this a safe space for wrestling fans like you and like us. Also, be sure you like the video. The more you like the video, the more opportunities I will be given to be recommended here on YouTube. Boost that algorithm by hitting that like button. I know it's early. It's a lot earlier in the evening to be doing a Raw review, but get used to it. This is when we're doing it. This is the best time to do it anyways. I prefer doing it at 9:30 and not 10:30. So, let me know how y'all feel about 2 hours. Like, give me your honest opinions. Also, give me your scores, 1 out of 10 in grades for tonight's show. Shout outs. Let's get to it. Once again, shout out to the Super Chat champ, Debit Money, Debit Money Adams, who won that title with $50. If you can beat the champ, be ready to pay the price. I think that works, Debit. We're going to do that. If you're ready to beat the champ, be ready to pay the price. Because everybody's got a price. We'll make it work. Darcy Chatham. JJ, who let the dogs out? Ooh. J Money. I see Adam Ritter. I see T-Man. T-Man, we gotta get you a catchphrase, a nickname. T-Man. It's T-Man. I don't know if Trojan Man will work here. I don't think that's appropriate. We'll make it work. Daniel Barris Sports Highlights. The Gaming Son, the Jameson 100. Mr. Jameson, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. We got Wave Face Killer YouTube member Xavier Jackson. Felt jet lagged watching this. I honestly was like, wait, that's it? When Cody came out. Yeah. We're not used to 2-hour Raws and everything going so fast, but we gotta get used to the pacing now. Everything's gonna be fast paced. I prefer it this way. In my honest opinion. Let's see here. Your goatness, Lauren Biggs, is in the building. Good to have you here. Eddie Lamb Music. Eddie Lamb did a great rendition of WWE theme songs that I did get a chance to watch and retweet on Twitter. If you're ever on Twitter and you happen to see that post, be sure you retweet it and get that seen by as many people as possible. Check it out. It's a great video. Joe Redondo, Pikachu Black, and the last one is going to go to Shadow Star. We'll give it to Shadow Star. Alright, thank y'all so much for making me a part of your day. It is one of those things where I'm just grateful for the people who take the time to come see me. But let me not forget about one last person who hasn't been here in a minute. God Mode, We on God mode. 312. Where have you been, sir? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. What brings you back to this particular stream? Of all streams to show back on. But we here. We really here. So, thank y'all so much for being here. We're gonna keep I'm gonna keep Super Chats on. I'm not gonna be here long anyway, so get your donations in if you want your opinions played live on the air. Let's get to it. Wrestling news. Fightful Select did report that the first Raw of 2025, when they move to Netflix, is going to be a massive show. Huge show. Like, right here, the title of the report says, WWE expecting one of the most buzz-worthy Raws ever for Netflix debut. Has a long list of things they're talking about here. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the report, and then we'll talk about it. Says here, the WWE is going to have a longer gap than usual between PLEs with the Royal Rumble 2025 happening in February. We talked about that. But they're not concerned. WWE RAW debuts on Netflix in January, with the debut episode taking place on January 6th. John Cena has already confirmed that he'll be a part of that show, which Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp is told is expected to be one of the biggest ones in a while. It is going to be a big one. It says here, the show is likely to be one of the biggest episodes of Raw in history from the standpoint of buzz. They cited that Netflix could end up being one of the biggest deals in the history of the company. Well, we know that. It's by far their biggest deal. It's $5 billion over 10 years. Now, they can opt out in 5 years, and then they'll only get $2.5 billion, but that's still a lot of money. You kidding me? Anyways, they're talking about the way that sources within WWE described to Fightful was that it was being talked about early on as being of the quality of a PLE. Wow. So they're saying Netflix's debut for Raw will almost feel like a PLE, an unofficial PLE. I mean, that goes without saying. It kind of has to feel big if this is going to be impactful, right? Just a couple more things. Says here, WWE views the move. The WWE views the move to Netflix as their next leap in popularity. While we haven't been told of specific plans, WWE sources had indicated to expect a major show. It was said to expect talent from SmackDown booked for the show as well, though that hasn't been factored in yet. I hope not. Keep SmackDown for SmackDown talent, and just use the Raw talent. WWE also will be bringing the special event Gap Buzz with Saturday night's main event. We're told that one of the strategies was to have major events across all of their platforms in consecutive months. With SmackDown's premiere on USA in September, NXT on CW in October, Saturday night's main event in December, and of course, Netflix's deal in January. And then Rumble in February, March will be Chamber, April will be WrestleMania, and so on and so forth. So, let's see here. WrestleVotes had reported that Los Angeles was the likely location for the first Raw of the year. Oh, so that's where A and B combos is at. A and B. If you can go to the show, go for it. So, there you go. They're saying that the first Raw on Netflix is going to be a big one. Now that they're going to have as much time as they want, they can really spread that out and treat it like a regular pay-per-view with no commercial breaks, if very little ads. How about that? I also consider the fact that it's going to be probably TV 14. They'll have that freedom to really, really do some, let's say, adult storytelling. Maybe not just cussing, but really, really get deep with these characters and do stuff that we haven't seen in a while. So I am excited. You should be too. And it kind of feels like with Raw now 2 hours, this is kind of that break before they go full-fledged Netflix 2.5, 3.5 hours. I'm excited. I am excited to see what that first episode is going to be like. So let me know how y'all feel about it. I ain't got much else to say other than what the news report just gave you. They're saying it's going to be buzzworthy. What? Oh. Me every night, oh, it's my sweet, I get so you can sleep, baby, I know that's that me espresso.
Alyx, I appreciate you retweeting my wrestling-themed piano videos. When I saw those musicians doing live entrances at Bad Blood, it gives me a bit of hope that it could happen for me at Survivor Series in my home of Vancouver.
My dude, if you are able to seriously get a gig where you're playing for WWE Live, I want you to know that that would be so goddamn cool. And if I was able to help even a little bit, then I did my job. Big donation, by the way. Thank you so much for that. What is that? $20. What is that? I don't think that's Canadian. Is that Canadian? What's CA? Regardless, it was money, and I appreciate it. I wonder if Eddie Lamb could have competed for that championship and taken it from David Money Adams. Nah. I love you, Eddie, but you don't want to pay that price. See, I be pumping my champions up. When you my champion, I pump you up. Dag nabbit. Someone I will not be pumping up is Goldberg. I purposely did not talk about Goldberg during my afternoon live stream where we were basically going through the wrestling news because I wanted to save it for this particular stream here. So, as you guys know, Goldberg and Gunther had a segment on Bad Blood in the middle of the show. Gunther confronted Goldberg and said that he has no talent as a wrestler. And he says, I hope you are a better father than you were a wrestler. Pissed off Goldberg. Goldberg hyped the fence. He hopped the barricade. And security came in, pushed him off, teased the match. Triple H, the game, was asked about Goldberg during the press conference of Bad Blood. And when they asked him, Triple H simply said, never say never. Look here. I get it. Goldberg is a legend. Still a big name. Very famous. Not taking anything away from him. Hall of Famer. One of the biggest streaks in wrestling history. But when is enough enough, y'all? Okay, so what? We do Gunther versus Goldberg. Gunther wins. What does that do for Gunther? What does that do for Gunther? Beating Goldberg at this age doesn't do jack shit for you. I'm sorry. I know it's Goldberg. I loved Goldberg during his prime. If Gunther would have beaten Goldberg in his prime, oh my goodness. That's a totally different story, but we're not doing Goldberg in his prime anymore. Goldberg is way past his prime. It's not the same Goldberg. So beating him doesn't elevate you anymore. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't care what anybody's going to say. Well, it would be a big time match. It could legitimize Gunther. And I'm not trying to make fun of you, although I am. But it is one of those things where I'm like, after a while of having this man come in and lose, and lose, and lose, at some point, it starts to lose its luster. So, for me, and for me only, I'll pass. I'll pass on Gunther and Goldberg. With that being said, something tells me we are going to get this match. When do we get it? If I had to guess, probably Saturday night's main event. I don't see it happening at Rumble. It better not happen at Rumble. I'll be furious if they give Rumble to Goldberg and Gunther. I mean, if you're going to do it on a PLE, I would rather you do it at Chamber. Don't do it at Rumble. I don't think you should do it at all. But if you gotta do it at the PLE, then do it at Chamber. Do it at Chamber, get it out of the way. But I have a feeling they're building to it for Saturday night's main event, which is fine. Gunther beats Goldberg, whatever. But I have to wonder, when do we get to a point where having Goldberg lose is just wasting time? Because that's what it feels like to me. We're just wasting time at this point. I have nothing against Goldberg. I don't think the guy is a terrible dude. He's clearly a good father. Clearly is a good businessman. But Jesus Christ almighty. This song and dance of having Goldberg come in to put over people, I think it's lost its luster a long ass time ago. It's just not for me. It's not for me. Not saying that you guys have to, how do I put this? If you're excited for this, cool. You're gonna get it. I hope you enjoy it. I just feel like this spot could be given to other people to help elevate them. Like we should be focusing on making main event players. I think about Chad Gable, who we could be making into a main event player right now. I think about the TV time we could be given to Otis and Maxine and Chad and all these other stories that were cooking. They just stopped giving TV time to Otis and Chad Gable. At one point in time, that literally was one of the hottest angles they were doing all year. You had literally Chad Gable bullying Otis, and every time they were inside the ring, Otis got his ass kicked. Otis has yet to get his comeuppance, and I'm sitting here waiting on Chad Gable versus Otis, and we have yet to get it yet. When are we going to get that match? Instead of Goldberg and Gunther. That's kind of why I really resent it. It's just like, well, I already know what's going to happen. Let's do something new. Whatever. WWE still sees value in Goldberg, so I'm just yelling at the clouds at this point, right? The people want to see it, so whatever. Miss Lauren Biggs says, put it on an episode of Rampage. You want to let Tony borrow Goldberg and Gunther to help boost his ratings? Nah. That will never happen. That will never, ever happen. That's not happening. But give me your thoughts about those newses. Those news items. Those newsies. The newsies? But let's go ahead and get to Raw. Again, this is going to be a quick review. Very quick review. They were in St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, the home of Randy Orton. Randy Orton was not on tonight's show because he's on SmackDown. A big sold-out crowd. They opened up, rightfully so, with CM Punk. CM Punk, of course, is coming off of a hellacious Hell in a Cell match between him and Drew McIntyre. I thought, for my sake, and people will agree with me, that was one of the best Hell in a Cell matches that I've seen in decades, since the first two. Great story, great rivalry, great talent, great match. It makes it one of the best matches that I've seen this year, and one of the best WWE matches I've ever seen, period. So, CM Punk comes out, says the war is over. He doesn't know what he's going to do, but he'll be back, and he'll let you know. So he goes to turn around. Very short promo. Here comes Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out, confronts him. They stare at each other for like a good 10 seconds, looking into each other's eyes. You hear the love music in the background. Wow, 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 wow. Not really. Seth Rollins shoulder checks CM Punk, walks to the ring, and then calls out Big Bronson Reed. Says he took 2 months off of his career and he wants revenge. So that's the next feud for Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed. I'm assuming we're building to Survivor Series for that. Hopefully. So CM Punk and Seth Rollins is the ultimate destination for WrestleMania. I am assuming we're going to be doing CM Punk and Gunther for Survivor Series, but we can't get to that until we get past Crown Jewel, of course. So they're going to build to CM Punk and Gunther probably after Crown Jewel when we get to November. But the ultimate goal is Seth versus Punk for WrestleMania 41. As we all predicted, that's going to be a hell of a match, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait for it. But in the meantime, Seth Rollins will take on Burn It Down, Bronson Reed. And he also did mention the fact that Cody was teaming with Roman Reigns. And he didn't like that. I'm pretty sure that's going to come back to bite Cody. And then before he can leave, he's interrupted by Uso! Jey Uso, your IC champ. Seth meets him in the ring and then just walks out because, you know, there's still beef there. There's beef there. Still one of Roman's, you know, families. Can't help but dislikes the families. But that's what it is. We get Jey Uso versus Xavier Woods. The match was good. Again, because it was a 2-hour Raw, they didn't really get a lot of time to wrestle. They had a commercial break. And then by the time they got back, Jey Uso hits a super kick on Xavier Woods coming off the ropes. Hits the Uso splash, pins a 1-2-3, clean victory. Xavier was very heelish. He lost. And although Kofi Kingston shaked Jay's hand, Xavier said, "No! I'm a sore loser. And I'm turning heel so I can't shake your hand." Crowd boos him. "Boo, you loser. Sore loser." Exits the ring. Kofi Kingston goes out to talk to him. "Yo, bro, what you doing? What's happening?" And as soon as they get out of the ring, boom! Bronson Reed. God damn it. There's too many Reeds. Bronsons. And Brawns. Braun Breaker. This is why you gotta call him Rex Steiner. Braun Breaker hits the ring. Spears Jey Uso. Takes him down. Knocks him out. And he's back to being a heel. Last week he was like, "I respect you, man. I respect you. Shake my hand." And then this week he's like, "Okay, I tried that bullshit enough." Boom! Speared you. What I should have done last week. Speared him. And then afterwards, runs out of the ring and spears Kofi Kingston. No, actually, he spears Kofi Kingston inside the ring, who tried to come back and save Jey Uso. And then spears Xavier Woods afterwards. So just like that, Braun Breaker is back to being a heel. After 1 week of being a babyface. I guess he figured, I tried it. It didn't work. Not a fan of being a babyface, so what you gonna do? I don't hate him for that. They tried to ask him why he did it, but he's all like, "I'm busy. Leave me alone." They do a pre-take of Rhea Ripley, where she said it was smart to recruit Raquel Rodriguez, but it would have been smarter if she didn't get caught. Now all they've done is guarantee an ass whooping coming your way, Miss Liv Morgan. And so they did another War Raiders tease. This one they had PFR. What does PFR mean? I don't know. Don't ask me. At least it's better than PFC. We got PFR and PFC. Lord have mercy. What's after this? They talk about Cody Rhodes being on the show. There were some technical glitches. Weird. Very weird technical glitches. You can tell that things were not quite ready for 2 hours yet, but it is what it is. Miz is backstage talking to Karrion Kross. R-Truth walks in and says, "Hey, man, I forgive you." And Miz says, "Why?" R-Truth is, Awesome Truth. Awesome Truth is over. And then Truth says, "Their kids play together. How could you do this?" Kross jumps in and says Miz needs to handle this and no one will take him seriously if he does it. Miz says, "Fine, I'll fight you next week one-on-one." And so it's R-Truth and Little Jimmy versus The Miz. Easily the best match of the show was the Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Peter Dunne. Great match. They beat the piss out of each other. Crazy spots. Loved the visual of the white noise off the barrels through the tables. That was crazy. Sheamus busted himself open. But they went to war. They tore each other up. I would have rather this be a Bad Blood. Another match they could have had at Bad Blood. I'm gonna stop. But yeah, Pete Dunne ends up losing. Even though he tied Sheamus' arms behind his back, Sheamus beats him with a no-armed broad kick. 1, 2, 3. That ends the feud between Sheamus and Peter Dunne. Very creative finish, man. The match was crazy. The match was good. Cody Rhodes is backstage being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. She was going to ask him about what happened with Kevin Owens attacking him, but he says we'll talk about that on SmackDown. Leaves, goes to meet Sami Zayn, talk to Sami Zayn. Hey, Sami, what's good? I hope you win tonight. You won't, but I hope you win tonight so I can fight you at Crown Jewel. Anytime Cody says, I hope Sami wins, that's how you know Sami's going to lose. Because Cody is cursed. Sorry, you know it's true. You know it's true. This was weird. Raquel Rodriguez shows up in a limousine, driving it, and out walks Liv and Dom. They get out of the car, and then you see Jackie Ratman interview them. Hey, so is this woman here in the Judgment Day? Is Raquel Rodriguez in Judgment Day? And Liv says, can't answer that. Okay, we're gone. They literally showed up in a limousine, got back in the limousine, and then got right out and drove off. You know that meme of what's his name, Grandpa from The Simpsons? Comes in, puts his hat down, walks, makes a circle, grabs his hat, and leaves. That's exactly what they did. They drove in, came out, hi, okay, bye, and then drove away. Weird. This episode was weird. What's even weirder is that we saw Ethan Page from NXT on Raw. Yeah, Ava Raine just showed up. Ethan Page showed up. He was there. He's like, hey, I want to see CM Punk. And then he's all like, well, if you want to see CM Punk, talk to Ava Raine. And Ava Raine's like, well, we'll handle it on NXT tomorrow. And you're like, what? What was that all about? You brought him here just to tell him, wait for tomorrow? Weird. Oh, yeah, and they open with Sexy Red. I forgot about that. Or did I? Anyways. 10 women's tag match. The Unholy Union versus the PFC. The Pure fucking Cringe. Taking on Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Zelina Vega, and Natalia. This match was like, 5 minutes? I'm not even kidding. This was a very quick match. And then you had Lyra win with a leg drop off the top rope. Match didn't really do anything for anybody. Who cares? Who cares? And then, of course, you had Bianca and Jay teasing their championship match with the Damage Control next week on Monday. And then the main event was Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Match was good. Could have gone a little longer, but they were only given like 15 minutes, so there's not much they could have done with that. For what it was, I did like it. I love the ending a lot more than the rest of the match. Sami kicking out at 1 after taking 2 power bombs and then getting locked in with a headlock. That was so good. Sami is one of the best at knowing how to lose, but get over and losing. Sami will get himself over in a loss. He knows how to get over in a loss, which is something that not many can do. So, he ends up passing out to a sleeper from Gunther, and Gunther ends up beating Sami. And then the last shot we get was Cody Rhodes and Gunther for Crown Jewel, competing for a championship that is there. Yay. Does anybody care? Again, like, most of this stuff is just about building to Crown Jewel, and I couldn't give a rat's ass. But we here. 2-hour Raw return, little clunky. Wasn't perfect. Honestly, might be one of the least interesting Raws they've done in a long time. But we should have suspected that the transition wasn't going to be easy. So I'm kind of glad that they're getting down the transition before we get back to NXT doing, excuse me. Wow, I'm getting everything mixed up now. Before we get to Netflix doing 2-hour Raws. But we'll see. We'll see how things happen as time goes by. So, all right, there you go. There's Monday Night Raw. There's your review. Live chat. Talk to me. Give me your grades. Give me your scores. Give me your thoughts on everything we talked about. How we feeling about Raw going 2 hours? So let's get to the top here. Yes, Debit Money Adams. Another loss. Another loss for Sami. It says here, Saudis want champ versus champ. They get champ versus champ. Blood Money title. The old Survivor Series gimmick. Ugh. Now, Debit Money Adams said he thought the 2 hours had great pacing. It didn't feel like there was slow moment. There was a slow moment like a typical 3-hour show. Yeah, no fillers, just straight action. J Money said the same thing. No fillers, just straight action. You like to see it. Could have been done better, but that transition's gonna take a while to get used to. So I'm not mad about it. Let's see here. Is Raw going off of USA next week? No, it's going off of USA in January, where it will move to Netflix. JJ Bulldog says CM Punk announces that he is stepping away, but he will be back. He'll be back for Survivor Series. We all know that. Jameson 100 said Raw seemed rushed at times. Well, yeah, because it's going from 3 to 2 hours, so it's gonna feel a little bit more compact. You'll get used to it, and they'll get used to it. Money Inc. for life. Respect the money man. Money Man Debit Adams, your Super Chat champion. The first Raw will be huge on Netflix. Oh, 100%. And John Cena will be on that first episode too, so you already know it's going to be big. Yeah, Goldberg versus Gunther. Can we not? I just don't want to see it. Seth versus CM Punk for WrestleMania? Of course. Of course. Why not? Why not? Does this mean Braun Breaker is going after Jey's title? Yes, he is. Braun's going after that title. He wants it again. How we feeling about War Raiders? So PFR is the word war in runic alphabet. Thank you. Appreciate that. The War Raiders are coming back as the War Raiders. Let's see here. Joe Arredondo gave Raw a 7 out of 10. JJ gave it a 6 out of 10. Joseph Winters gave it a 7 out of 10. 2 hours of Raw is still gonna work. Yeah, you gotta give it time for them to adjust. Actually, JJ changed his grade to 7 out of 10. Alright, that's fair. T-Man says it was just a lot to digest, to be honest. Yeah, it was a lot. A&B Combos is in the building. The premier reaction channel for wrestling here on YouTube. They say, so what do we do with Sami next? That's a good question. I guess we have to move him over to SmackDown to fight with the Bloodline. We'll figure it out. Let's see. John Cena just tweeted something. What did he just tweet? You won't remember my name. Really? Interesting. King Tyler, it didn't feel like 2 hours. What did it feel like to you? Yes, sir. A&B Convos is in the building. And they're chanting Goldberg. Let's not do Goldberg, please. Let's not do that. Yeah, maybe Sami can help out with War Games. We'll figure that one out. I'm gonna let y'all talk to A&B Combos a little bit before I get out of here. Xavier Woods losing to Jey Uso. It is what it is, right? Lauren Biggs said the American Models Oops American Made is about to be catering tag team champs. Hey, Miss Lauren Biggs, calm down. Don't be disrespecting Chad Gable like that, ma'am. Let's see here. Shattered Glass says, why do people say Gunther looks great? He looks like a normal guy with the strap. I just don't get it. Oh, I do. I think Gunther's a great champion. Dro Davidian from the land of A&B combos gave it a 7 out of 10. Joseph Winters calls A&B the GOAT. Can we talk about Joker 2? Do not talk about Joker 2. I'm not seeing it until tomorrow. Taking someone out to see it. Everyone's saying it's terrible. I will judge it for myself. So I see A&B Combos is treating Lauren Biggs like Joe Hendry. Say her name and she appears. I believe in your goatness. I believe in your goatness. Lauren Biggs. I believe in your goodness. Lauren Biggs. We'll see. JD from NY did an epic rant on tonight's Monday Night. Really? He did a rant on it? Again, like, they're just now getting adjusted to 2 hours. So I shouldn't have expected that the first one was going to be all that great. What's next for the Wyatt 6? Good question. We'll have to figure that one out. Alright, look guys, I would hate to end this stream, even though A&B Combos just got here, but we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank y'all so much for making me a part of your day. Again, like, yeah, I want to see A&B Combos. Subscribe to them, because they will be live weekly, Raw and SmackDown, during their live streams, reviewing and reacting to the show. So be sure you check them out. And of course, pay-per-views, PLEs, if you want to. For this week, we have AEW. Yeah, AEW has a pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream, on Saturday. Be sure you watch out for that. I will be here to do a preview and predictions on that show probably Thursday-ish. We'll figure it out. And then, of course, we'll do Dynamite on Wednesday. Friday will be SmackDown. And then, if anything else, we'll definitely play that by ear. But thank you all so much for making me a part of your day. As you file out, do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash, and Venmo. I love you all. And I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's world. The place it is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Catch you guys next time. Peace. When you're